Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your co-host on Inspire Nation, along with my heart-expansive, ever-courageous, loving wifey, Jessica Lee. If you've ever struggled with fear in your life, whether from big news or small, then do we have the Love Over Fear show for you. Today we'll be talking about overcoming fear, transmuting fear, and even using fear to your advantage. That plus we'll talk about vacations that weren't, the power of pancakes, one little love bug, running up walls, and what in the world coily springs have to do with anything. So welcome back to the show, Jessica. Are you ready to shine?
You bet I am, especially because we've got Love Bug right behind you.
Behind me. Okay, so do tell what is Love Bug and what has just taken place in our lives.
Okay, we did something which on the surface seems pretty crazy, considering that we're going to be moving later this year. And we've already got 2 kitties, and we're probably not moving anywhere close. And that means flying. And kitties aren't really known for really enjoying travel. So to travel with 2 kitties is a pretty big endeavor. But the long and short of it is we brought home a third.
Well, when we came here from Maui, granted we were really struggling at that point. That was wow, it's just about 2 years ago now. We did come here as a 5-person, a 2 human, 3 feline family.
We did, yeah. And so our third kitty was Koa-kun, and when he came into our family, we didn't even know that our family was incomplete. But when he came into our family, we realized that he completed it. He just brought so much joy to all of us, including the other 2 cats. And when I was within a few months of arriving in New Jersey, I was still very much sick. Koa very suddenly passed away. He had seemed fine that morning. I remember the last time I saw him, he was just like waiting for me outside the bathroom. And it was just a shock. And both of us, all of us except Lumi, were quite devastated. But it seemed like Lumi knew that there was more to the plan.
Well, yeah, Lumi looked at him. He passed away in the kitchen right before or after eating. Just passed away. There's no other way to describe it. And Meowsers was extremely heartbroken, and Lumi was like, huh. And just of
Lumi
no,
was like, hey, what's up? Let's play.
yeah, of no notice, didn't miss a beat.
I mean, for all we know, Lumi could have been there witnessing Koa's passing, and maybe there was some sort of message that was passed on. But when we discovered Koa's body, that is, Lumi was right there.
Hmm.
So,
But Lumi hasn't had now. So Lumi is a year. How old is Lumi now?
I think Lumi's about 3 now.
So Lumi's about 3, and Sir Meowsers could be. Well, we don't know. We just don't know with Sir Meowsers. But let's say he's got to be 10, if not a little bit more than that. And Lumi has needed a playmate,
He
and
has.
been very vocal that he needs somebody to play with.
I mean, Koa was his playmate. Um, and when Koa passed on, I tried to take the role of being playmate, but um, I just I don't I don't deal well with the claws as much.
You just need some more fur.
Yeah, my skin breaks kind of easily, so I was not a good replacement.
So, and it's interesting because, I mean, Lumi would be in your face, you'd be petting him, and all of a sudden he'd go, bat, 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 because he just
Yeah,
needed somebody to play with.
I mean he'd get full on love, and he's like, okay, that's enough. Let's release this.
So, okay, so today's show is Love Over Fear. And clearly, this is something, if we want to bring this kind of full circle, intellectually, head-wise, this is a decision that, okay, we're going to be moving across the whole continent. let's go get another member of the family first, and one that may be challenging to travel doesn't seem to make much sense.
Yeah, I mean, normally you think, okay, let's adopt a new member of the family once we get to our new place. That seems practical, makes a lot of sense. Um, and- but we weren't looking for love bug. It wasn't even on our. It was like nowhere on my mind.
He may be joining us here right in front of the camera in less than a moment. So we've had him here about an hour. And he's in the studio getting to know the lay of the land first before he's introduced to the other kitties. It was actually, we went to a pet store about a month ago, and we went in because Sir Meowsers was on strike yet again, saying, you're going to need to give me some diversity, some more diversity, some more diversity.
See, he used to be an outdoor cat on Maui, so he had his pick of at least bird varieties
Birds,
and
pheasants, moles,
rodent
mouses.
varieties.
Yes.
So
So,
we do bend over backwards because we've turned him into an indoor kitty, and um, I just think it's only fair that we try and provide as much variety as we can.
so that's when we ended up at the store one day, and they are in some cages, and they never had cages in the store. They're not a store that. Wow, if you're hearing crashing going on, he's learning about computer cables. Um, it's not a store that sells animals, and we're very glad about that. Um, but it had some rescue animals that had just been brought in.
Yeah. And I remember we walked in, and immediately I saw cages and three kitties, and I walked straight over to them.
And which I said out loud because the person behind the register commented on it. I said, "Oh no."
But there was actually a lady there who was entertaining the kitties, so I left and I picked out Meowser's food, and then I waited until the other woman left, and then I met all three kitties, and I thought, well, the name that Lovebug had was Pollux, and we're still going to use it. You're going to call her Polly in addition to Lovebug.
Princess Polly, yes, of course.
um, and I thought, oh, what an adorable kitty! She's going to get adopted really fast, and I didn't think anything more of it. So we came home.
Although she kissed me. I will comment
She did kiss the
that
both
was
of us.
unusual that the cat reaches out through the cage and tries to kiss you.
Yes. And I took note of that too. And I thought, well, we're just, we must exude kitty love. And so all kitties around the world just want to dote over us.
Well, thank you. I deserve that. Unexpected, though, for you to say that.
So we came home, a few days pass. Sir Meowsers again goes on strike, and we end up going back to the pet store. And she was still there. And this time, I believe she kissed the both of us on our noses.
Probably so.
And that was really remarkable. And I thought, wow. I I think that's when my gears started turning. But I tried to stop those thoughts because I was trying to kick it into the practical gear.
Well, we were talking about how quickly do we get our next class set up so that it's rolling before we do the move, and how we coordinate everything, and how we start to get light. And this is actually going to be quite a challenge for me because I know the importance of getting light, and I don't bring in a lot of things to my life. But I am quite the sentimental fool and somebody who can see the value in anything, although I do see the value in nothing as well, meaning in space. And so I've been trying to wrap my head around how do we get light, get light, get light. And so I hadn't kicked on this gear at all, but we started coming back more and more. And I'm going,
more and
"Oh,
more frequently, and each time we were wondering, or we were assuming after each weekend anyway, we figured weekends are really busy, that's when people are going to see her, and then somebody's going to end up adopting her, and when we come back on Monday, she's going to be gone. And 2 weekends went by and she was still there. And it was after that second weekend where I thought, instead of going, oh, she's going to be adopted, um, I was thinking, I hope she's not adopted. I hope she's still there. I was starting to panic.
yeah." And I was okay. However, it turns out I was very much of the opinion that universe is going to decide. If Kitty's still here, then the idea was starting to come to me, and maybe Kitty will go home with us. But if Kitty goes home with somebody else, and this is a very playful, loving Kitty that I think everybody would fall in love with, then it's not meant to be. And when we got Koa, just a real brief backup, when we got Koa, which was actually from a humane society on Maui, it was right after a holiday where they had like discount kitties for sale, so to speak.
It was after Black Friday.
And all the kitties had been like wiped out of this place. And we came in and they're up on a rafter as if he'd been hiding, tucking himself away for us, was Koa-kun screaming at us like, "Where have you been?"
I was so shocked that he was still there. His sister had been adopted. She was just as playful as he was. I mean, I really expected for him to be gone.
Any crashing noises you may hear is Kitty learning how to occupy. I said at the beginning, I said running up walls. I was only half joking. This cat has so much energy that I swear if she focused it right, she could run around the room on the walls as if it's a giant wheel with centripetal force alone pinning her against the wall.
So this same week, which was basically last week, um, was a very challenging week for the both of us. You had gotten sick with a cold, a
Well,
pretty.
I've got to back up there briefly. I was talking to my folks on the phone last week, and I was supposed to be, right now, as we're recording this on Monday, what is it, like February 6th is my guess. I was supposed to be kicked back with a Mai Tai, so to speak. I don't actually drink, but I was supposed to be kicked back on the beach in Delray, what is it? Delray Beach, Florida is where I'm supposed to be right now at this very minute. And instead of beautiful, sunny New Jersey, 33 degrees out. And so last week, early in the week, I'm talking to my parents on the phone, and they're both sounding like dead frogs. They both had laryngitis. And I think I got off the phone, and you made some comment, something to the effect of, wouldn't that be ironic, if not difficult, running a show with laryngitis?
Oh, I said something like, wouldn't it be interesting if you caught laryngitis from them over the phone? And I don't even know like where that idea would come from, you know? So I think I was just seeing into the future.
Yeah, because the next day I woke up, I had laryngitis. When's the last time I got sick, Jessica?
Um, I think you had food poisoning
Before that?
about a year ago. But as far as like a cold goes, I can't remember the last time.
Yeah.
Not since you've been in New Jersey.
So,
So
this was crazy. So okay. Where are we going with this? So last week was a challenging week.
You were sick, and you know naturally when you're not feeling well, you're not feeling well. If you're not feeling well physically, emotionally, you're a little challenged too. You know,
Yeah,
it's understandable.
particularly if you expect to be hanging out on the beach. Talk about a great Buddhist
Yeah.
lesson in detachment. Because I've worked for 515 shows straight. So every day, day. And I was so looking forward to having a few uploads done and taking a short break.
Yeah, you did have 2 very short breaks, like 3 days long.
Key point. Yes, last summer I did visit my folks twice. So a very key point. So I was looking for...
Because we don't want you to come across as like a martyr.
No, and I had a beautiful vacation planned. I love myself very much. I was really looking forward to this. Had even mapped out, would we go to Key West? Would we just hang on the beach? I've been doing all of my training at the gym so that I can get back in the water and be swimming again. I
You
was
were really excited to see your parents.
absolutely. That was going to
Yeah.
be highlight number one.
So there was that going on, and then we've been following the news, specifically the news around what the new administration is doing, and we weren't. I mean, I also was not feeling so not like my usual happy-go-lucky self.
What's interesting, we had on Pedram Shojai, he's both a Taoist monk, he's a Oriental medicine doctor, and he's many, many other things. Amazing human being. You can check out his show, it's The Urban Monk. And he was talking about how politics vibrates at the lowest level. And so if you spend too much time, and I was thinking about this last week when I was sick, because I'm one who I have an understanding of what goes on in the world, but I try not to put my energy there at all. And last week, it was hard not to put my energy there. And so he says that politics has the lowest energy. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted because Kitty has found a way to step on the auxiliary keyboard. And so your image is going large, it's going small, it's going away, it's scrolling. He's dancing on the backup keyboard here. And so there's a lesson here in how to stay mindfully present.
You're
But
doing
I,
awesome.
but I wondered if focusing on the news so much was indirectly or directly. Okay, good. He got off of that because he was almost hitting the shutdown key. Was indirectly or directly causing me to be under the weather.
I gotta think there was a direct effect.
And so that was very, very important that I start to make that connection and start to pull back my energy. For instance, I haven't looked at all yet today, and I will. I got an automatic writing. It's great to look. It's important to look right now. Do it midday. I haven't succeeded at that yet, but do it midday when your internal fire. We had on Shunya Chara recently, amazing Ayurvedic specialist. She runs the Ayurvedic organization for all of California. And she was talking about how you want to eat your biggest meal in the midday when your fire is burning the brightest, so you get the best digestion. And when I got an automatic writing is you want to take in the most difficult news in the middle of the day when your fire is going the brightest so that you can burn it off and you don't have to worry about it. If you take in the most difficult news later in the day, then it can affect your health and affect your sleep. And there's some truth to that.
Yeah, and if you take it in the morning, then that's just gonna reflect in your entire day. It's just gonna set your day in
Chaos.
quite possibly.
Yeah, it's why I'm careful about, and I am, bless your heart for looking at the emails earlier in the day than me. I like to do all my writing, all of my creative stuff, everything that needs to get done, that front loading we've been talking about a lot recently. I like to get that done before I will look at email, and I like that to be around 11 o'clock or so, or just a little bit sooner so that we can catch our assistant Aya, who's on the other side of the world. But I want to do it as late as I can so that it doesn't affect my setup for the day.
Hmm. So my whole point in bringing up what was going on in the news and like how your health was affecting us is we, at least I'll speak for myself. I was feeling a bit of fear last week. And there's several things that can happen when you experience fear. And I came up with three as I was thinking about it. And one, you can go small and you can hide and you can go quiet in the face of fear. Just hide from it.
Yeah.
Two, you can take that fear and turn it into anger and lash out and attack others in an effort to mask your fear and your insecurities. Or three, which I prefer,
is get a kitty.
Yes. You
That's
can
exactly what we did.
you can take that energy and transmute it into love.
Hmm.
And so all these things are happening that are putting me in a more fearful place. And I'm thinking, I've got to do whatever I can to keep my heart open, to keep expanding, to find ways to express love. And there was another series of events that really crushed me, having to do with uh, it involved someone else's kitty getting put down um, because it was not well. And when that happened, something just flipped a switch, and I thought we have to go, we have to bring Love Bug home, and that just felt so, it felt so right and felt so expansive. That it was like this huge yes that welled up from within.
It's interesting because at this time, and I want to ask you more about what transmuting energy into love means. But in this time, in this moment of fear, when you're going, the world is seeming more unsettled this week than it's ever seemed in my whole, at least adult life, I think is what we were both saying of, wow. And instead of going to a place of circle the wagons, she's on the chair with me and her claws in my back are what has stopped her. Oh my God. Instead of going to a place of circle the wagons and really closing down, you said, no, I believe this is going to be a beautiful, bright future. I'm getting Kitty. And you
Yeah,
wouldn't have done that if you didn't have hope for the future. And you say this is kind of a
it's
seal.
choosing. I was basically consciously choosing how I want to operate in the world moving forward. Do I want to operate from a place of fear, or do I want to do everything I can to operate from a place of love?
Hmm.
And I think operating from a place of fear is a lot more limiting and constricting, and it just makes you feel either small or really tight.
Here's a good example of that, which is right before we got her, we had filled out the paperwork, and you said to me these fateful words, because we'll have to rent wherever we go before we buy. We've got to check out the place at the very least. And you said to me, Michael, will people actually accept us to rent in a place with 3 kitties? I'm like, thank you for raining on my parade. And all of a sudden you go real quickly to this place of fear. Oh my God, what are we going to do? This could be real difficult. This blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, wait, stop. Does this feel right? Yes. Does this feel special? Yes. Would this make Jessica's day? Yes. Would this really help our family because we
Make
have
my
2?
day. I think it's gonna like make the next 20 plus years.
There you go. Will this help our current kitties? Yes, 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 yes. Well then, if you bring that energy to the rental situation, something will appear. And those that don't appear, that's all right too. Because when you vibrate at that beautiful, loving energy, this is love over fear. When you vibrate at that energy of a woohooedness, well, my woohoo's back, thank God. When you vibrate at that energy, special things happen, and we forget and we think this is such a linear based, head based, if this, then that, only if except of that. That's not the case. It's all about the energy. All about the energy. And that when you bring the energy to the table, there's so many gears that are turning behind the scenes. That's the as above, so below that you can't even imagine. And so I caught myself quickly. And I'm like,
Mhm.
no, you got to do it.
So here's the thing. I wasn't just thinking, okay, this is going to help me express more love because I'm just going to pour more love into this other being. But Lovebug, and she has the name Lovebug because she envelops so much love. Like she's a miracle kitty to me. I mean, our current kitties are miracle kitties.
But this has
But
been confirmed. This has been confirmed by, now maybe they say this to every cat owner, by all of the people that work with the cats there have said how special she was, how many phone calls they've gotten, how they were so surprised she was even there the first weekend, how she's so unique. Maybe they say it to all. I don't know. Wow. She's doing laps around the studio. If a cat flies up in front of the camera in slow motion, this last night with the Supermobile, maybe to grab a football as she goes by. I can see it now. Go ahead.
Anyway, what I was saying is, I just felt that she was going to love us and love Lumi and Meowsers in a way that we could all really use right now. And she's just going to help us raise our vibrations, just like you were saying.
You're making me think now. Think, feel. Gets kind of confusing. At this time where things are for everybody, the best term that I've come up with is blenderized. We're all in the blender right now on puree. The best thing that we can do is throw out a little hook into love. Is find a way to get back to love, to be loving, to express love, to get a kitty in your life and be the love, to be more loving with your family, to be more loving with those around you. You've been talking so much lately, and we've been teaching people in our group classes about our meta love meditations and loving kindness meditations. And really at this time, and Ho'oponopono for sure, is going back to the love with everything that we've got.
Right. And because, well, let's talk a little bit about why we don't want to stay in a place of fear. What happens when we're in a constant state of fear?
Well, on an individual basis, that's when crap goes down. As The Secret, if anybody remembers The Secret, that's when you stub the toe first thing in the morning, and then a book falls, then the toaster falls on you, or you burn your toast, and on and on and on the day goes. Things tend to get in sync with the frequency that's around them. So if you go to this place of crappiness and fear and like a dark cloud, you look at the news first thing in the morning and you're like inviting the dark cloud into your room and say, "Come with me, rainy storm cloud. Follow me throughout the entire day." And it goes, "Well, okay, your wish is my command." So that's on an individual basis. You can switch that, of course. But now go ahead.
Well, in even simpler terms, what happens on a physical level? What happens to your body when you're in fear?
When you're in fear, your body's in fight or flight mode, which means not only do you tighten up, not only can you not think straight, not only do you have a shorter attention span, your patience is at wit's end, your blood sugar levels literally crash.
Mm-hmm.
Because you go into a place of fear and you literally start putting on body fat.
Your cortisol levels go up, which means inflammation goes up, which eventually, if you stay in a place of fear long enough, you start to get sick.
Bingo.
No, I'm not hinting or anything.
Well, thank you. I'm not even sure. Did this come about before? No, it was clearly at that time, and as somebody who's not a big... I don't do a two-step with the news on a general basis. It certainly played a role. It certainly played a role.
Right.
And
I think there were many factors behind you getting sick, and I hear the running. And oh my goodness, it's like she's on a track.
When I said she would run around the walls with centripetal force alone, I'm not sure I was exaggerating.
I mean, I don't think it's coincidental that your parents were also sick.
No.
With laryngitis, and that you've known of other people in other parts of the country with laryngitis specifically.
Yeah, and I don't know how much I want to dive into that here today, but laryngitis on a spiritual side of things, I was learning from a beautiful guest we had on a few days ago, Amelia Kincaid, who we never even got to it in the show, that she is the woman who plays Blanche Devereaux on The Golden Girls. She's her niece, and actually helped her Aunt Rue, she called her, come up with that sultry rule, or come up with that sex crazedness that didn't exist before Amelia came along. And Amelia had also been in Days of Our Lives, and she's an amazing animal whisperer. But she shared a story about her being sick with strep and laryngitis, and how it turns out that the laryngitis, she realized there's a spiritual significance for everything. And the laryngitis meant that she was not speaking her truth or speaking her voice. And I found that fascinating, that during this time where I do think, again, coming from a place of love, it is so important to be expressive. During this, as things get more challenging, I think, of course, it's a two-step. First, we have to see how much we can dive in on the inside and get ourselves to a place of love. Because certainly, I would say don't go to a protest, a rally, whatever it is, if you're in an angry place. Because all that's going to do is produce more of what you don't want. You have to get to a place of love, and then you do need to speak your truth. And so I think that's why a lot of us were getting laryngitis or something similar last week, is because there is this need for all of us to be speaking our truth right now.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's so important.
You're welcome. We were talking about here on a micro level, on an individual level, what happens if we're vibrating at a low level. But I also just alluded to what happens on a macro level, which is we are all tuning forks, some more than others. I have twin titanium femurs and hips. I'm a tuning fork turned upside down. With that said, people vibrate at the frequency of those around them. This is why Monday mornings around New York City tend to be rather challenging, to say the least. It's also why if you have a grump monster in the office, things tend to be very challenging. However, if you also have a Mr. or Mrs. Chipper who comes into the office first thing in the day, that can be awesome and really set the tone for everybody. The energy that you bring with you, whether it's into your car, a subway car, the office, daycare, school, it doesn't matter. Whatever is going to be the energy that you put off on others as well. And so if you're scared by world events and you bring that fear with you, you help create more of what you don't want because it becomes infectious to everyone around you. There's no blame here. This is just starting to become aware of what our energy does. If, on the other hand, you crank up that inner flame, what I like to say, to shine bright, and you bring that love and light with you wherever you go, even when the circumstances around you are crazy at best. You raise up the frequency of everybody around you, making it much easier for there to be a positive change.
And I just want to say that you don't even have to go anywhere
to
affect others. And you mentioned it earlier. You alluded to meta love. Can you explain a little bit about what meta love is?
So it's our own kind of variation on the meta love and kindness meditation, which is basically just to take in gratitude and send out love. First, you take in gratitude and you send out love to somebody you truly love in your family. Like I could send it out to you, or I could send it out to the kitty cats. And then bring in gratitude in through the heart, and then back out through the heart. Send out love to everybody in your home. Breathe in gratitude, send out love to everybody on your block. Breathe in gratitude, send out love to everybody in your town. Gratitude in, love out through the heart to everybody in your state or your county. And these continuing concentric bubbles or circles, in gratitude, out love, in gratitude, out love, as you become all inclusive of everybody everywhere. And something special happens when you do that. At some point it clicks that we are truly all one. And it feels really special. And you begin to grasp that on some deep soul level, which the soul already knows. But it's true, you can be a tuning fork in a cave in the Himalayas, in your house, out on the streets, and it all raises the vibration of everybody around. I do think it's why it's so important that if we watch the news, and I think it's important actually to get a close look at it and then jump away, watch the news and then jump away, because if you stay in it, your vibration comes down, your tuning fork vibrates at a frequency you don't want to be at, and it starts to pull everything down as well. And this is a time Everything in history repeats, but I believe we're on a torus, a spiral, a circle, continually going upward, and that our vibration is a much higher level now. We're not going to allow the same junk to take place that we did in the past, and the best way to do that is to keep our frequency at the place that it was before this craziness started happening. And
I would say that this craziness is spurring many of us to even up our vibrations more than
yes,
ever before.
it
And,
is.
and and I don't know that we would have ended up with Love Bug if this craziness hadn't been going on. If I felt like I needed to bring balance back into our household again. Probably because she's just so special.
But you're right. This is an opportunity to actually leapfrog ahead. I think I said it on our last show that we had together, but I love saying it every chance that I can. It's Einstein's line that the problems caused the problems. I'm going to paraphrase poorly today, but the problems caused at this level of consciousness will not be solved at the same level in which they were created. We have to leapfrog to a higher energy level, to a real place of love, in order to heal the wounds of today, in order to jump above them, to jump past them, in order to reach across the chasm.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that I hesitate because I don't even like using the word enemy. But if you have a quote unquote enemy that is smart, they're going to want you to stay in a place of fear, because when you're in a place of fear, you're easier to manipulate and you're easier to control.
When you're in the blender, there is no chance of you figuring out which way is up.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I know personally, and I got to believe that everybody else is much like me, but when you're in a place of fear, you make bad decisions.
I'm laughing. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know we've been there many times over. What are, in addition to adopting Love Bug, what are some other ways that you're going to a place of love right now?
So I want to go back to the meta love meditation,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to share that that's what I do every night before I fall asleep. I mean, that's what I do as I'm conscious, and then as I'm drifting off to sleep, before I know it, I'm sleeping. Because I can't think of a better way to start my dreaming. And there's, I don't remember which guest said it or talked about it. I think it was a guest on motivation. Maybe it was the No Sweat author,
Michelle
Michelle
Cigar.
Cigar. Anyway, somebody said that we often remember an experience, but how it ended. And I think the example was about some sort of uncomfortable procedure, a colonoscopy.
Oh, God. I say, oh, God, because if you've ever had one, you'll be saying, oh, God, too.
So they had two sets. They had two sets of what do you call them?
Participants, shall we say.
They had two groups. There's a more scientific term for it.
There's the control group, and then I can never remember what the other group is called.
Okay. So one group had a shortened colonoscopy,
Mm-hmm.
and the other group had a prolonged colonoscopy. But somehow they were able to make the end of the colonoscopy more of a pleasant experience. So even though it was
Hard not to laugh at this one. I'm
Even
so
though it
sorry.
was longer,
Hmm.
you had to endure something uncomfortable for a longer period, but because it was not as unpleasant towards the end, that group of people had a better recollection of the experience as a whole.
Hmm.
And so my point is, when I'm ending my day on a note that is on like expansive love, that's I'm like imprinting my memory of the whole day.
It's something we learned about with this show early on about asking the woohoo question. And the reason that I like us to keep a little bit just after the very end of the show, where we have some positive talk right at the very end, because I want to imprint that positivity. I look at it as a positive sandwich. We start on a very positive note. In the middle, we can go really down into the thick of things and then bring it back up, and it becomes an incredibly overall positive experience.
So we're talking about how you can experience or expand your own feeling of love. But if you want to see a more tangible effect on others, because you don't always see like how your thoughts of love for someone across the world is actually affecting them, um, you could just write emails to your friends and family. Um, the other day, I just felt really compelled to reach out to a friend who had been going through a difficult time, and I just shared completely openly about how I saw the situation. And I remember tears were rolling down my face as I was typing this email because it was just from the heart. And I sent it off, and it felt like such the right thing to do. And I wasn't expecting a response right away, but a few hours later, a response came back, and that person was so grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can do things, you can take action and get. I mean, I don't want to say send love just so you can get love back, but you do get it back.
Well, it's Sean Acor, former Harvard professor, wrote the
The
happiness
advantage.
the happiness advantage, and he talks about, and he goes into corporations and does this, and he has gone into the White House and done this, and talk about if you can start your day by sending 5 emails. They can be really, really short emails, a couple sentence emails, 5 emails that you send out, sort of like random acts of kindness, to brighten 5 people's day, 5 people that you know. And you don't need to expect anything in return, but just 5 contagiously positive emails, complimentary emails, sharing something from the heart emails, how much that changes the grooves in your record to look for more of the positives around you, and how much they're going to be touched by it and resonating at a higher frequency as well.
Yeah. And then the other thing I would recommend is if you love animals, you could just like go on YouTube and like type in kittens.
Nobody's done that before.
I was doing it a lot last week.
Well, it's interesting.
Watching. Mm.
Oh, no, you go first.
Oh, I was just gonna say I was watching videos of um, mama kittens taking care of their baby kittens, and yeah, I don't. I mean, it's. I know I'm not alone in because these videos get like millions of views
Mm-hmm.
in a short amount of time. There's just something about that universal love that resonates with everybody. Everybody wants to experience that. Everybody wants to have a part of it.
I was finding last week that as the news was getting really, really weird, I'd be like, "Wow, look, an article on a pink dolphin," and suddenly I'd be checking out the pink dolphin, or I don't remember, it was last night. It must have been last night. A story about a lioness who had 5 or 6 cubs and found an injured fox, and you would think that she'd be an injured younger fox, and you think that she was going to feed the fox to her family. and instead she fought off the was it the pride, the king of the king of the pride, um, and took the baby fox in as one of her own.
Hmm.
And so every time that you go and you see a story where you're going, frankly, WTF, I cannot believe what I'm looking at, balance it. Balance it with
Yeah.
something else, and I call it to seal the deal. And like you're saying, it's brilliant what you're saying, and with something positive, so that your subconscious isn't going, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. Instead, it's thinking of the cute and fuzzy bunnies, kitties, pink dolphins, are little cubs with their newfound friend, the fox.
Right. I mean, you're still being responsible. You're still being aware of what's going on. You take action accordingly, but then you take care of yourself too. You take care of your well-being and your health.
And it's weird. You're literally taking care of those around you as well by causing the gray clouds to part, the sunshine to come in on you, which allows the sunshine to come in on those around you. Because even if you get to a place of love, they still may be going, what the? And so the more you anchor to that place, the more you help them to reestablish a baseline of, if not love, then at least there's a solid ground beneath my feet as well.
Yes, well put.
Woohoo!
I just remembered how over the weekend there were two police cars and then an ambulance and paramedics that arrived and parked right across the street from our house.
Mhm.
And there was an emergency going on in the house directly across from ours. And um, it was the morning, and you were still very much under the weather. And so it was a little rough for the both of us. But what happened when we saw those vehicles pull up?
You can't help but go to a place of perspective. You can't help. It's not that you're seeing somebody else's misery and that's a good thing in any way, but you can't help but think, I'm saying I got it bad. I get it bad because I'm sick because I'm on vacation because I didn't get to Florida, while this person is having a life or death emergency potentially, and who knows what's going to happen, and they've got multiple vehicles, all the lights going, and I'm concerned that I didn't get to the beach. What are you talking about? It really, and I wasn't so much gloomy as I was just mopey. Oh, my face, my face. As my sinuses are just doing, I could literally hear a snap, crackle, pop, and I had a fever, and I still have the sinuses going today. Big deal. But yesterday I was like kind of zombie. Oh, and then I see that and I'm like, oh, I have nothing to complain about at all. And here comes the stretcher coming out without anybody on it. Woohoo!
Yeah, but before that, we were in separate rooms, but I knew you were doing it at the same time I was. That we were both sending love and healing thoughts over there.
Mhm. I was so happy about the outcome. And it really was an energy shift. And you don't need to see those emergency lights. Though if you look in the city, it's only about a 10-second drive before you're going to see your next set of emergency lights. So could use it as a reminder.
But I don't think it was an energy shift simply because it was putting things in perspective. I think because you are now focused on sending love over to our neighbors, that action, that intention shifted your energy.
So I've said this in many shows before, and as you were saying that, I didn't even realize I have this little crystal in my hand that was given to me as a gift. And in just about every interview, there's a place, it fits in my palm, but there's a place in it that I can kind of slide my thumb along this crystal. And whomever is the guest during the interview, I'm sending love and sending love and sending love. And so basically, I feel pretty blissed out after an interview because I've taken a full hour to be sending love to somebody across from me, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so can you describe what that feels like when you're sending that love? It's probably hard to put into words.
It
Do
feels
your best.
great. It feels really good. It takes you out of, I've admitted to everybody before, and I don't think it's a bad thing, that I get very nervous before interviews, particularly typically our interviews.
Yes.
Yeah.
The feeling is mutual.
but I guess that's transmuting that energy. If I'm just putting out love and putting out love, you can't be in fear and love at the same time. Even the concept doesn't exist. You know, I'm afraid I love you. What? It doesn't work. And so as I'm putting out that love, magic starts to happen. And the magic starts within me because I start to feel really good. And when I feel really good, it's a similar word, good ground. I don't know.
You're more relaxed.
Yes.
Your energy is easy to be around. It's comforting. It makes the other person feel at ease.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel like they can open up to you.
Yeah.
And then you've got this heart connection. And when the hearts are communicating with each other, like, how can you go wrong with that?
And it's an excellent point because a few interviews recently, I have been at 50%, to say the least. And so I finished the interview going, I had this whole list of 100 questions, Jessica. I got to 1. And you'll say, well, did you do it from a place of love? Yes. Well, then don't you think it went well? You're right. It actually probably went very well. Because I was in that space, it's harder to do any harm.
You're tapping into a higher vibration, a higher consciousness, a higher intelligence. How can you question a higher intelligence?
It's got to be smarter than me. It's so true. It's so true. So you've given me at the end, provided we start to wrap things up, even laryngitis voice at all, or all, whatever you even say that, I will attempt to lead everybody in a metta love meditation.
I just want to point out, I know you don't know what to make of it yet, but the irony in that, when I went on vacation,
oh no,
I was sick.
So you can catch this. This was about 3 months ago. It might even be 4 months.
It was November.
So November, there's a show of Jessica coming back from the dead because you did a whirlwind tour of Thailand and the Philippines. And by my count, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm prone to embellish on this side of things.
You are embellishing because it was Taiwan, not Thailand.
Oh, that was not my attempt. But you only spent, how many days was the trip total, and how many days were you not sick?
The whole trip was about, I think it was 12 days, and I was probably 100% healthy for 2 of them. And before I left, you didn't tell me till afterwards, but you basically said you saw it coming.
Well, we had on a guest, Natasha Alter on
astrocartography.
Yes, where you should live in the world based on the stars. And she said, "Oh, I see a trip coming for your wife in the very near future." How interesting.
And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? Interesting.
And
interesting always means bad.
We both knew that it wasn't all good.
But it was really great in the long run because it was exactly the kicking I needed to turn things around. But so the irony is that you spent your vacation this past week or weekend sick as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if I needed an kicking myself, to put it in your words.
Oh no, apparently you did. But look at the transformation that I've undergone.
Much better than gone under that, yeah. So I totally agree that something beautiful will come of this. And at the same time, I'm looking forward to a redo on this vacation. I want that beach time with Ma and Pa.
Yeah. I want you to have it too.
So thank you. But you're right. There is no irony lost that in both of our recent vacations, we have ended up under the covers with fevers, going, is the vacation over now? Can I feel better yet?
Mm.
So
At least
eh,
we got to bring Love Bug home this weekend.
we did. So on that note, before I lead us through a meditation here, are there any last words of wisdom you want to share with people?
Um, just that every situation is an opportunity to express kindness and compassion and love. And I certainly don't remember that all the time. It's actually something that's just dawning on me that like every single interaction with another person, another human being or animal, um, or just living thing is a great opportunity to practice expanding your heart. Why not? And even with people that you would consider your quote unquote enemies, people that have caused you pain and suffering in the past. I think those are the most challenging. I'm definitely still challenged in that arena. But I started practicing this morning, sending love to someone who really did hurt me. But I think they can be the most transformative. And by the way, I wasn't talking about you.
No, I know. I'm not sure who you actually were talking about.
I'm talking about someone who knew about our house being moldy.
Hmm. He came up in my thoughts within the last 12 hours as well. That's wild. Wow.
I've never really tried to send that person love before because I had wanted karma to take care of him in a not so loving way.
Well, it's true. He knew the house was making us sick. Um, but you're right. Maybe that's where you start. Well, I mean, you can start closer to home, but those people, and that's been one of my practices I've been doing before bedtime, is I've been doing Ho'oponopono for those people or individuals who I feel are rocking the boat the most. Is that a good way to put it? Is that
Sure.
I've been sending as much love and forgiveness and healing as I can. And I do that for a good 20 or 30 minutes before I fall asleep. Actually, lately, I haven't really been falling asleep for quite a while because it feels like an elephant is coming and sitting on my face when I lay down. But I think sending that Ho'oponopono, which if we talk about it on so many shows, it's a Hawaiian healing forgiveness prayer. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. And when you're sending it out to somebody else, because we all on a spiritual level, we all are on a quantum level. We're all one. We all are the I am. We all completely interwoven and interconnected. Sort of like we had on Amelia Kincaid recently talking about animals, but one of her greatest mentors was Captain Edgar Mitchell, who was an amazing astronaut and the one who went into a lunar module for 3 days on Earth and came out with the solution that brought the Apollo 14 crew home safely. And he talked about how when he went into space, it was such a transformative experience, and learning, looking back on Earth, that we are truly all one. And so to help heal another, if we work to heal ourselves, it's actually completely interconnected. And so I dive into a place of Ho'oponopono for someone else but while healing my heart at the same time. And it transmutes outward.
That's the ultimate forgiveness, right? And when you are able to fully forgive somebody, you're not just setting them free, you're setting yourself free. That's what we all want, freedom.
Woohoo! Yeah, exactly. All right. Are we good? If so, I'm going to jump into a brief meditation.
One last.
Notice I didn't say, do you have any last words of wisdom? Because I saw it coming, and so I just
It's
held back.
related. It's related. And I just, I
You go,
got
girl.
sidetracked by tears. It's just that if we can embody more love, each one of us, a little bit more each day, it'll make the whole world a lot safer.
I have behind me a book on Mother Teresa, just a short little book. And it didn't occur to me till you just said that one of the things that you can go during this time and do is read a book on a saint, on a spiritual person, on somebody who's brought more love and light to the world. I think that could be a truly transformative experience. And that's what you're talking about right now makes me think of Mother Teresa.
That's it. See?
Woohoo!
It wasn't that long.
It was perfect. All right, so if you're not driving down the road and you'd like to join us in a beautiful meta love meditation, and if you are driving down the road, you can do this later. Just remember to come back to it, is have you sit up good and tall wherever you're at. And I'd like you, again, as long as you're not driving, close your eyes. Get comfortable. Put both feet on the floor or cross-legged in lotus if you'd like, but we want you nice and symmetrical. Again, good and tall so we can get a lot of air inside of you. And we're going to breathe in and out through the nose if we do this. It's something I've talked about in a lot of meditations on the show in the past, is when you breathe in and out through the mouth, that's the sound of an animal being chased or an animal under distress. We don't want that. So instead, we're going to breathe in and out through the nose. When did we do this? We did this 100% of the time as babies. That's what allowed us to get mama's milk. So it's incredibly soothing, incredibly relaxing. So let me just have you breathe in through the nose, all the way down to the belly. Feel the air fill that belly. Then back up and out through the nose. In through the nose, down to the belly, up and out through the nose. As you continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, I want you to picture the air coming into your heart and out through your heart. So while the air comes into your nose, it's coming in through the heart, going out through the heart as well. Now as you continue to breathe in, I want you to bring gratitude. Breathe gratitude right into your heart. Hold it there and then release love right from the heart. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out love. In gratitude, out love. As we continue to breathe in gratitude and send out love, I want you to think of somebody that you love very dearly in your life. So bring in gratitude for that person and send out as much love to them as you can. In gratitude, send out all the love in the world to them. As you continue to bring in gratitude, send out love to everybody in your home or the building that you're in right now. In gratitude, send out love to everybody around you, just in that area. In gratitude, out love. Now let's expand that bubble of love. Breathe in gratitude. Send out love to everybody on your block. In gratitude, out love. In gratitude, send out love. Now let's expand it. Breathe in that gratitude all the way into your heart. Send out love to everybody in your town or city. In gratitude, out love. One more time. In gratitude all the way into the heart. And then from the heart, send out as much love as you can to everybody in your town or city. Then in gratitude. Now let's expand that bubble of love. Send it out to everybody in your state. Out love. In gratitude. Out love. In gratitude to the heart. Send out as much love as you can to everyone in your state. Now bring in that gratitude. Breathe in as much gratitude as you can. And send out love to everybody in the country. In gratitude. Out as much love as you can to everyone in the country. Everyone. In gratitude. Send out all the love in the world. And now take in as much gratitude as you can. Crank up that love from the heart. Send out love to everybody on your continent. In gratitude. Out love to everybody on your whole continent, no matter how many countries there are there. In gratitude. Send out love. Now we're going even bigger. Take in all the gratitude in the world and send out love to everyone on the entire planet. They're all filled in a bubble of love. In gratitude. Send out so much love it encompasses the entire planet. In gratitude. Send out love. Now let's go even bigger. Take in all the gratitude in the world and send out love to everything, everyone, and every planet in the whole solar system. In gratitude. Out love right from the heart. In gratitude. Cover the whole solar system in that bubble of love. Now, in gratitude. Now send out love to the entire Milky Way galaxy. We're getting some meta love going here. In gratitude. And out a galaxy's worth of love. In gratitude. All the love in the world going to everything in the Milky Way galaxy. Now even bigger. In gratitude. Out love to the entire universe. In gratitude. Out love. In gratitude. See this bubble of love enveloping the entire universe. Out love. And now everything, everywhere, everything you can possibly imagine, breathe in that gratitude. Send out love to everything in existence. In gratitude. Beam out that love from the heart. And in gratitude. And send out love. A couple more times. In gratitude. Send out love. And in gratitude. Send out love. You can take just a few moments. You could hit pause and you could take a few minutes or longer. Just be in this state right now. Enjoy this state. This is your natural state of being. And you are being the love. Then when you're ready, open your eyes, gently come on back, and then carry this love with you wherever you go throughout your entire day. How do you feel, Jessica? Well put. Gotta crank it back up for the finish here then. For everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler and
Jessica Lee.
saying be well, have fun, crank that love up to the max, and shine bright. Woohoo! Thank you.
That was fun.
That was awesome.
You don't sound like you have laryngitis anymore. You don't even seem sick.
No, I think cranking up the love felt pretty good.
Yeah, see? What did I say?
Wifey always right. Wifey always right.
What did I tell you to do in bed this morning?
Crank up the love. Thank you. Now shall we play with Love Bug?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like below. Also, leave your comments. Have some real fun with it. Subscribe to our channel where you're going to get more great videos, more interviews coming up. And check out our website, inspirenationshow.com. That's where you'll find tips, blogs, information, videos you won't find anywhere else, and useful and helpful resources to really help you kickstart your life and to shine bright. Thanks so much again. Thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe. See the website. Thanks so much and have fun. Of course, shine bright. Woohoo!